Welcome back to Recap Central. Today I'm going to explain a science fiction movie called Mirage. Spoilers ahead. Subscribe for more videos like this. In 1989, during a 72-hour-long thunderstorm, a boy named Nico is playing guitar while recording himself. Suddenly he hears some noise and sees his neighbors fighting. He is curious and sneaks into his neighbor's house to see what is happening. He is shocked when going inside as he sees Mrs. Weiss dead. Soon after Prieto, Mrs. Weiss' husband comes downstairs holding a bloody knife. After seeing the knife, Nico runs. Unfortunately, a van runs him over. Nico's friend Aitor sees him die in the car accident, and Prieto gets arrested holding the murder weapon. In 2014, Aitor works as a pilot. He still lives in the area with his mother Clara. They look up at the sky and his mother tells him this storm is similar to the one that occurred 25 years ago when Nico died. Meanwhile, a married couple move into Nico's old house along with their daughter Gloria. They come across an old TV in a closet along with a video recorder and tapes. They watch a recording of Nico playing guitar. After the video, the news from that night start playing. They invite Aitor and his mother that night for dinner. They tell them what they saw earlier. Aitor informs them Nico was his best friend and reveals how he died. After dinner, David researches on Prieto and the murder case. Prieto was arrested in his slaughterhouse after burying his wife, and he committed suicide 3 months later in prison. They all go to sleep. The TV suddenly starts broadcasting the old news again. Vera is awakened by the noise and she goes to check. At the same time, Nico starts recording with his camera. They are connected through the TV. A wormhole created by the two storms is formed. Vera gets shocked at first but finds a way of interacting with Nico. They are both confused. Suddenly Nico hears noise coming from his neighbor's house. Vera makes an effort to convince him to not leave the house. She explains what will happen if Nico goes to Prieto's house. She tells him tomorrow lightning will hit his school's house and school will be closed. Nico tells his mom what happened the previous night. At school, Nico is astounded everything Vera said happened. In Vera's timeline, she wakes up in the hospital where she works, but things seem different. Everyone calls her doctor and they treat her differently. She goes to the operating room and everyone calls her Dr. Vera and requests she operates on a patient, even though she stopped working as a doctor when she got pregnant. Puzzled, she leaves the operating room and rushes to Gloria's school. But no one knows her daughter. Not even the teacher knows her. She goes straight to David's office and explains everything that happened, but David doesn't understand what she is talking about. Vera goes to the police station and explains what happened to Detective Lyra. She explains Aitor told them about Nico's death, and how she talked to him on the TV, and how after that she can't remember anything until she woke up in the hospital. Lyra explains David isn't her husband and Gloria never existed, as her birth certificate and pictures can't be found. He thinks Vera is hallucinating, and he recommends to get a brain scan. The scan shows her brain is working fine and it's not the problem. The doctor then shows her a wall covered with certificates. It turns out Vera is the best neurologist in the hospital. Vera realizes her future changed when she saved Nico from his death. Back in the past, Nico is still curious about Prieto. He sneaks into the hose and is petrified when he finds Mrs. Weiss' body in the bathtub. He tries to run away but Prieto just came home. Nico hides under a bed and finds a watch with the letter CM engraved on the back. He sees Prieto carrying a chainsaw to dismember Mrs. Weiss, while he waits for the right time to escape the house. In the present, Vera finds a book called Mirage by Karen Sardon. She and Inspector Lyra read the book in the library. It contains the name of Nico Lazarte. With this, she convinces Lyra to meet Karen Sardon. They speak to her to find Nico's whereabouts. Karen says she only heard his mother's story about Nico imagining he could communicate with a woman from the future through the television. They find out as long as the storm lasts they can communicate with. Lyra wants to help Vera, but he needs some proof to believe her. As proof, Vera tells him to look for Mrs. Weiss' body underneath Prieto's slaughterhouse. They check and find a human skeleton inside a suitcase. After that, Inspector Lyra helps Vera by giving her credit card information about Nico and an address. When she visits the address, she is petrified to find David cheating on his wife with Vera's friend, who is a nun. She blackmails David to get information on Nico as he works in a bank. Meanwhile, the police arrests Prieto, who now lives with Victor and Clara. During the interrogation, it's revealed Prieto was having an affair with Clara and they were caught by Mrs. Weiss, which ended in a fight that caused Clara to accidentally stab Mrs. Weiss. Inspector Lira asks for the watch Clara is wearing. Sure enough, the letters CM are on the back, meaning Clara Medina. This is in accordance with little Nico's statement to the police. But at the time, the police ignored his statement. They even thought Nico had a mental condition. Day by day he became more obsessed with the lady from the future. He had only one clue: the Vulpinita station, where he hoped to meet the woman one day. In the end, he managed to meet Vera in the station where he grew up. When Vera arrives at Inspector Lira's house, she is surprised to find out he is Nico Lazarte, who is in a relationship with Vera in this reality. Lira tells her how he waited years for her, and in doing so he prevented her from meeting David and Aitor. Vera asks him to fix the events using the TV and old video recorder. She then jumps to her death, so he will be forced to save her. Lira uses the video recorder to communicate with his younger self. Vera suddenly wakes up in a different reality where David is her husband and Gloria their daughter. She finds out in this reality David also cheats on her. She calls the police to report Mrs. Weiss' body. At that place she meets Inspector Lira, hoping in this reality he can start a new relationship with her.